Hi, I'm Brandon Grant, Marketing Director here at QuoteWerks. In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to use the QuoteWerks Quote Importer to import a quote created from the Cisco Quick Pricing tool. The QuoteWerks Quote Importer is free to use and is available on the QuoteWerks website. So we'll first start by showing you where you can download the Quote Importer for free, and also how you can check to see if it's previously been installed. So to start, open up QuoteWerks and click on your Tools menu. If you already have the Quote Importer installed, you should see the Quote Importer menu option under this Tools menu in QuoteWerks. If you don't see it here, you can easily add it to QuoteWerks by opening up QuoteWerks in a web browser, and then under the Integrations option, scroll down to Vendors and Distributors and click on that. And when you get there, locate the QuoteWerks and Cisco option, and this will bring you to the QuoteWerks Quote Importer for Dell, Cisco, HP, and Netformix, and you can easily and quickly download the Quote Importer directly from this page. Once installed, you can open the Quote Importer by clicking on the Tools, Quote Importer menu. If you don't see the Quote Importer menu after you've installed it, simply close QuoteWerks and restart it, and then it should appear. When you open the Quote Importer, it'll bring you to the Getting Started tab. The Getting Started tab displays 3 different methods for importing a quote into QuoteWerks using the Quote Importer. The first is you can simply copy and paste the text from one of your quotes and import it into QuoteWerks. Second is you can open a file and import the quote that way. The third and final option is to drag and drop the file into the QuoteWerks Quote Importer. For our example, I'm going to use method 1, which is the most common, where I'm just going to copy and paste the text from my quote. So once I'm ready, simply click on the Paste from Clipboard option, and 2 things will happen when you do that. First, your text will actually be pasted into the QuoteWerks Quote Importer. The second thing is that QuoteWerks will automatically recognize what type of quote it is, and it'll bring you to the correct tab. If for some reason you did not go to the correct tab when you pasted the information in, that just means that you probably don't have all the necessary details to actually import this quote into QuoteWerks, so make sure you copy and paste all the data exactly as it is in the quote. Now that we have our quote information in our Quote Importer, we simply need to select our various options. The first one being, who do you want to set the vendor as? For most of you, you're going to want to keep it as Cisco, but if you're like white labeling the items and you want them to look like they're coming from you, you could put your company name instead. For our example, we're just going to go ahead and leave it as Cisco, since that's where we're going to be getting these items from. The next option is if you want to place the Cisco quote number in a QuoteWerks field. You'll have an option from any of the custom text fields shown on the drop-down menu, so you can choose to have the Cisco quote number and to be displayed in a QuoteWerks field for reference later on. The category descriptions allow you to put additional information into this QuoteWerks document as well. So if you have site text, section text, or promo date that you want to import into the document, you can assign the various fields here. You simply need to check the box next to the various fields that you want to pull into the document. My particular quote that I have doesn't have this information, so I'm just going to leave them unchecked, but you'd be able to set them here, and any settings you set the first time you use it will be remembered moving forward. The last option under the Have Subtotal Lines Be Blank Comment Lines essentially means that if you have subtotal lines in your Cisco quote, when we import it into QuoteWerks, we'll convert those subtotal lines into comment lines, so they won't have a dollar value associated with them. It'll just be the text. If you want that to be the case, then you would just check this option here. I don't have any subtotal lines, so I'm just going to leave this unchecked. You'll see we do have lead time text, included item text, and CCW line number that you can also import into the document. The next section goes into the price. This is how you want to handle the price when we're importing into QuoteWerks. I have it set where I'm going to hide the price attribute for any items on my document that have $0 totals. This means that the customer doesn't have to pay or purchase anything, but I may still want to include it as like a comment line. So this will just hide that pricing so it's not confusing for the customer when they see a $0 total. So I'm going to leave that one option set. Place discount in the QuoteWerks field. We have a QuoteWerks field for that, so you have the option between the cost modifier and the price modifier. If your discount is going to be based on the unit list, and that's how you calculate your cost, you would select the cost modifier. If the discount is going to be based on the selling price of the item instead, then you want to select the price modifier in that case. And then finally, you also have the option to select where if print line equals no attribute for $0 totals. Basically, if there's a item with $0 totals, it won't print on the document as well. So for my example, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that unchecked. If any of those items in your quote have pictures associated with them, we'll be able to import those as well. Once you've made all your selections for all your options on the document, simply click import and the quote will be imported into QuoteWerks. So now if we go back into QuoteWerks, we'll see that our items have been imported into the QuoteWerks document. We'll see our quantities, our item names, our unit costs, our unit price, our vendor, our manufacturer, all our part number information has been pulled over. And now that the document is in QuoteWerks, you can do with it whatever you'd like. So if you need to adjust an item's quantity, the description, the pricing, anything like that, you're able to easily make those adjustments. You can continue to use this feature as much as you need. You can even import multiple quotes into the same QuoteWerks document. Just follow the same steps, open up the quote importer, and in this case we would clear a quote because we want to start with a new one. Paste the quote from your clipboard or drag and drop it into the document and then click import, and then it will be quickly added to your document in QuoteWerks. For more information, or if you have any additional questions about the QuoteWerks quote importer, check out our QuoteWerks website. Feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Thanks for watching.